Hello, great to see you. This is not the first time I interviewed you, but it's always pleasure to see you. You're working on leadership. It's so important. Women leadership is for all of us, uh, all women and men. And you're talking about coaching people. That's also very important. One question I hate they ask me, because I have also written a book. What inspired you to write a book? Please tell us. What has inspired you?
I was inspired in so many ways because I was a women leader myself for more than 13 years. I worked in multinational companies for different regions and countries. And I witnessed a lot of women leaders who are struggling to go to the top. So that was something in the back of my mind. You know, I had the experience, I was witnessing others. And then for the last 16 years, I've been coaching women executives and men executives in more than 50 countries. And I have also observed that the challenges are still there after 16 years. So the challenge of not going to the top or being challenged by the stereotyping, the traditional societal expectations, etc., they are still there. And this was kind of a, I don't know, cosmic power that got together. And I was doing my master's degree in organizational psychology. And my professor asked me, what is it that you're really caring for? What do you want to go deeper in? And I was like, okay, what is it around me that is striking my attention? And it's women's leadership. Because every time I work with an executive team, I see that there are one or two women leaders. Looking at politics, 95% or even more of the politicians are men. Therefore, I was like, I want to go deeper. I want to combine my practical experience with research and data. So here I am, combining all these three and talking about how to empower women leaders.
And it is not a feminist book. You're not shouting out loud, but you're trying to coach them to become a leader. And this is very important because it works for men too. It is very crucial that men support women and understand that it is very hectic to become a leader. They have their own fight. Mm-hmm. Women have their own fight. Mm-hmm. And to support each other in decision making is so valuable.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Great. What's your hope? I mean, after reading this book, people will say, oh, great, now I have become a leader. Shall they become a leader? I know you have a lot of working with people, but reading this book, can they do that?
Yes, actually, it's not only for women, I need to say. This book is for building confidence in their capabilities when it comes to women. But this book is also for male allies who can support women leadership and also organizations, because this is not something that the women leaders need to do on their own. This is not only a self-development issue. It's not like they need to develop these 3 to 5 skills and they will get there. It's more than that, because they are not only improving on how to become a better leader, but they're also, in a way, fighting back with the stereotyping, the unconscious bias, etc. And I'll just give you a story of mine. At a very early stage, when I started my corporate career, I was observing women, very early in their careers, making a decision not to go up the ladder because they think that they always need to prioritize family, and they can't do it all because everything is on their shoulders, home, kids, career, etc. So they didn't have the motivation to go up. And, they were really hesitant to plan their babies because they were afraid that they would not find the job when they're back. So that was one thing that was really striking. And personally, what I lived through was I had a counterpart. We started almost at the same time, and he had 9 more months experience, but he was recruited 2 grades up with all the stock options and the cars and the salary, etc. And I wasn't, and I didn't negotiate for it. And on the other hand, I've seen another colleague who came back from the military service, and in 9 months he promoted 2 grades up. I waited 3.5 years, although my records were really well. So this tells me, the women go to maternity leave, and when they come back in 4 months, they might not find their job, but the guys can go to the military service and come back and promote. So that was so striking at the time. So, I built on that experience in a way. What are the motivations of women leaders? When do they start making that decision to go up the ladder, or they just, decide about not to do it? And then I thought of, what do they need to stay in the game? Apparently, they are taking, mixed signals from organizations or the leaders they work with. They're like, you need to be assertive. But when women are assertive, they are perceived as aggressive because the society wants them to stay in their nurturing role. So in a way, when I coach women leaders, this is a small nuance that they need to be careful about.
Exactly.
So I want to build confidence with women, and I want to encourage man allies and organizations to take measurable steps for this.
Organizations are always a triangle. I mean, very few people on the top and many people down the ladder. When you start to, I witnessed this, I said, I need to promote you. And the lady there said, no, please, I don't want any promotion. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by I don't need any promotion? You'll be better off, your salary will increase. If you're afraid of leadership, we can also support you there. No, she said, I am happy with my salary. And I have a small girl that I'm a single mother, I'm looking after her. So I don't want to go up. When you go up, it's likely that I will lose the job. Mm-hmm. So women are smart in some sense that they also push, or organizations are pushing. No woman at this level. It's good that we all men talk to each other, but still women perceive this and wants to say, which is not something we should support. So your book is very valuable in that respect as well. You have to flourish in your capacity. It's not only higher ranking. Mm-hmm. It's not only money. It is money, of course. It's higher ranking. And decision making should have both views. Women have so different views. It's good for the company.
Exactly. What I actually emphasize is the fact that women have such innate qualities that they are very good in transformational leadership, we call it. So transformational leadership is they create positive change through a shared vision, through growing other people, and setting a coaching and feedback culture. And what we see in numbers, and I care about numbers a lot if we're talking about business.
It's very clear in your book, which is good.
Economy works better in terms of market share on innovation, the revenue, and the net income. And then the culture change is very significant when when more women leaders are at the top. There is a longitudinal study for 19 years, which shows that, if organizations promote women more, they have a better rate of increase in their revenue. So, this is like almost a strategic imperative to have women leaders at the top. And what I mean by that, they don't need to be all CEOs, but they may be C-level, because today's work environment requires executive teams to lead together. It's not up to one single leader who says you need to do this and that. It's much more than that. So women need to be represented equally at that executive level so that things can change.
First step is 30%, then 50 probably.
Yeah.
But this thing, transformational leadership, is so important. Please tell us about that.
Yeah.
I'm a leader, but what shall I transform? I have targets, I have kids, I have to read a book, I have to do this, that, and transformational leadership. Ooh, it looks very ambitious.
Well, actually, women already have the skills to collaborate because they are much better in empathy. They are willing to coach others and let them grow in the organization. So they are aware that they can't do this alone. They have that experience already, I think, as a family, as a community, that, you know, people need to support each other. So they come from a collaboration perspective, let's say. And that brings in many of the factors of transformational leadership. Transactional leadership, which is more associated with men, but I don't want to say that men are never transformational. It's just, you know, on the average, males are more.
After reading this book, they will be transformational.
Well, that means, you know, the males are, or let's say transactional leadership is more about setting targets and giving rewards on performance. It's not necessarily about growing the organization. I think that's the biggest difference between the two. And women have this, because of their innate qualities, they are much better in this. So I actually want to build that confidence with them, letting them know what they need to, you know, they need to figure out what motivates them to go up the ladder. They need to understand the role they can play to change organizations, communities, even countries. And then, you know, the organizations have a role to play. Like, you know, how to really support women leaders, especially with the ones that have small kids. The childcare is a big issue. Maternity leave time is another big issue. When they come back to work, how do they adapt back? You know, it takes 2 years.
And it's a lot of hormonal change and probably anxiousness. They are very anxious to go back. They need the money, they need the position, they have worked so hard, but the kid is at home, so it's a big guilt trip.
Definitely. And you know, Kazakhstan is a very good example. They have 3 years of maternity leave and they come back with a secure job. It's probably one of the 2 countries in the world. It's a paid leave, and I think Germany is pretty much close to that. And other than that, it's very, very short. United States is on the other side of the spectrum, like there's no space. So, you know, that's one of those things I actually support as well. You know, the key life stages of women are critical to make those decisions. When they're much, let's say, older, they're stuck in between their teenage kids and their elderly, because they are the ones taking care of the elderly, be it their parents or their spouse's parents. So, you know, it's like twice as much work. But starting very early with having a child, even making that decision. You know, I was running a research with a company during my dissertation, and I learned that, you know, the women executives who are like 5 to 10 years of experience, they would plan their kid with their boss, not with their husbands, to secure their role when they come back or secure their promotion. I was like, wow, you know, this is the worst.
I was in contact with a gentleman. They were sending us goods. I was the controller, and we were receiving information. We had to receive the information. Is it on the way? Is it dispatched, etc.? And one day I heard he's on paternal leave. What, at that time, what, now we applaud that and we understand that. He said, my salary is lower than my wife's, so I have to take the leave. This is our budget for our house. So I will take this leave and I will risk my job. Oh no, please come back, because we were working so well. But everybody that leaves the office has a question on their mind. And kid at home is a very important thing on your mind. Let's go back to your book, if you want. What shall I take from this? The audience, the reader, what will they take from this book?
Well, I would like women leaders to build confidence in their capabilities and focus on those 5 to 6 critical skills that will help them to move up the ladder in leadership. The second thing I'm looking forward to have is to create awareness with men, because they need to be allies, not bystanders. And the third thing for organizations, to set measurable goals, because what gets measured gets done. So I would like to encourage organizations to focus on women leadership as a strategic imperative. That's my goal with the book.
Great. I had worked 20 years in ABB, and what gets measured gets done. That's so important. Thank you.
Thank you so much.